Evel Knievel was born Robert Craig Knievel on October 17, 1938, in Butte, Montana. He was the son of a mild-mannered businessman, and it was in the small town of Butte that Knievel's rebellious spirit began to take form. As a teenager, Knievel was known for his wild streak, often getting into trouble at school and at home. He was a dreamer, one with an eye on the extraordinary. His passion for motorcycles began at a young age, and soon he found himself taking the first steps toward a daring career. In his early 20s, Knievel moved to different cities, working odd jobs as a motorcycle mechanic and performing small-time stunts. It wasn't long before Knievel realized that his dreams were bigger than just fixing bikes. He wanted to ride them, and ride them in a way that had never been done before. By 1965, Knievel had started making a name for himself in the stunt world. He took his first public leap by jumping over a row of cars at a local event. While the jump wasn't flawless, it was enough to get the attention of both the media and the public. The crowd cheered as Knievel came to a skidding halt, and a legend was born. In the late 1960s and early 1970s, Evel Knievel became a household name. His daring jumps over cars, buses, and other obstacles thrilled audiences across the United States. He wasn't just any stuntman, he was a performer, a showman who knew how to captivate the masses with his larger-than-life persona. But it was on New Year's Eve in 1967 that Evel Knievel made his most audacious attempt to jump over the fountains at Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. The world was watching, and Knievel was ready. Dressed in his now iconic white leather jumpsuit, he sped down the ramp and soared into the air. But tragedy struck. The jump was a failure. Knievel's motorcycle flipped in midair, and he crashed violently into the pavement. The crash was brutal. Knievel was rushed to the hospital with broken bones, fractured ribs, and severe internal injuries. But instead of fading into obscurity, Knievel's near-fatal accident did the opposite. It cemented his place as a cultural icon. After the accident at Caesar's Palace, Knievel's popularity only grew. The public was fascinated by his ability to bounce back from such a horrific crash. He returned to the arena and continued to perform, each stunt pushing the limits of human endurance. Throughout the 1970s, Knievel became a larger-than-life figure, attempting jumps over buses, cars, and even a line of semi-trucks. Each time, the stakes grew higher and the risks increased. His most famous stunt, however, was in 1974 when he tried to jump the Snake River Canyon in a rocket-powered motorcycle. The jump, which became a defining moment in his career, was ultimately a failure. The rocket-powered bike malfunctioned, and Knievel was launched into the air before crashing back down into the canyon. Although he survived the accident, it was a clear sign that even for Evel Knievel, there were limits to how far he could push himself and his body. As his body continued to break down, Knievel's health worsened. His physical limits became apparent, and it became clear that his days of performing were numbered. By the late 1970s, Knievel began to retire from the limelight, passing on his legacy to younger daredevils like his son, Robbie Knievel. But even in retirement, Evel Knievel's name continued to resonate with fans and future generations of thrill-seekers. Though his career was filled with spectacular highs and painful lows, Evel Knievel's place in history was secure. He had achieved what many would have deemed impossible, and he had done it all while defying death time and time again. He passed away in 2007, but his legacy continues to live on. Through his jumps, his struggles, and his unyielding determination, Evel Knievel had proven one simple truth: that the human spirit is capable of so much more than we can imagine.